very difficult world that we were living in. Cyberbullying, predator activity, cyber attacks. They posed an awful lot of dangers. And I think when the internet happened, humanity as a whole wasn't ready for it. I decided that basically if we wanted to have a different social network in the future, then you had to go back to base level. You had to go back to kids and you had to teach them in a new way of how to use social media. Because from a behavioural background, it's easier to instill a positive behavioural habit than it is to break a negative one. So we looked at basically creating a lockdown social network that's built just for children alone. And within that, they're learning all different skills and how to protect themselves, what is good and bad behaviour, and a whole host of other areas, but to prepare them for the internet world that they're in. The partnership with UNICEF came about actually as a result of working with the police in Ireland for 3 years or more. The Garda Síochána, which is National Police Force of Ireland, and in particular the Online Child Protection Unit, they were quite interested in how CyberSmarties had developed a platform that no adults could access, because their mission is to protect children online from predators. And predators is a word and it's a term that nobody feels comfortable about. But it's a big issue out there, and we had to ensure that there was no access to any of the children on the system. So we began working with them. We were working with them for 3 years, and at the end of those 3 years, they awarded us a patent for safety. It's the first time a company in Ireland was ever awarded a patent for safety from National Police Force, and we're the first social network in the world to be endorsed as 100% safe. So very quickly, after that, 2 months later, we were in touch with UNICEF, who then asked us to become a global partner, specialising in particularly in online safety for kids. They also have an incredible reach, they have an incredible mission themselves. We're both focused on the same thing, and this is just our particular area of specialisation. Anything that's online to do with children, we're committed fully to that. I suppose our core areas of expertise would be cyber safety, behavioural science and mental health. Those would be the main areas that we specialise in. From the perspective of cyber safety, CyberSmarties is a lockdown network, which means that no adults can access the system. It's children only. It's for the primary school market, so it's from the ages of 6 to 12. And you're getting into the minds of the child basically while they're young about what's good and bad behaviour. In terms of markets, we're in Ireland now. We've been there since 2015. We've also offices and opened markets in India, South Africa and now the UAE. And we're on a global mission because we want to change how social media is used in the future. We want to end cyberbullying and the use of technology in social networks the way it is being done at the moment. And so it's a global mission. Safety, I suppose, is the primary aspect of CyberSmarties. We had to ensure that it was safe. The children were authenticated as real children. That had never been done before. So each child is verified as a real child. Even CyberSmarties staff don't know the identity of any child, and their data is 100% protected within the lockdown system. And that's fully monitored, so that's monitored by real people from the location that it's operating in, which is very, very key, so that they can identify words and different slang and so on the kids are using in different locations. It's machine learning inside the chat function, so it's learning different words the kids are using continually, and then if a child tries to send a message that contains negative words within it, the system will tell them, your friend may be upset if you use this word, try using a positive word, and it will continue to do that until the child self-corrects the message. And on average, it takes 3 days to train a child, and we have over 98-99% never revert back. And that's why we have reduced cyberbullying up to 98.5% on the system. In terms of the mental health side of it, that's something that's grown in the last 3 years. We noticed that there was an issue around children, how they perceived themselves, peer pressure really, from what they're hearing at home, from what they're seeing online, how they look and different things. I don't like using the word mental health actually, because I think it has negative connotations to it. Really, it's a mechanism within the system that teaches life coping skills. Because many of us don't know who to go to when we were children. You may not be able to go to a parent, you may not be able to go to a sibling. So it really teaches you about life. And the way it does that is there is a pop-up avatar, Claire, who's a well-being assistant, and she pops in every day and asks how your day is going. And based on the response that they get, they'll try and identify where the problem is, whether it's anxiety, whether it's sadness, whether it's loneliness, and then Claire will show a video of how to deal with that problem. And it's been hugely successful. Each child goes through it every day, and we can see over time, it's like a pre-intervention tool. You can see at one point in time whether anxiety is an issue in a school, whether it's in a region. COVID was a huge identifier for that for us. We could see where it went from happiness when they were all off school initially, to then boredom, and then through to sadness and loneliness. So once you spot that, you can do things about it. And that's just that part of it. We have online classes for schools, we have Cyber Academy, which is all online courses. Schools can do live classrooms and homework delivered through it. And then we have a whole host of videos, cartoons, games and everything to keep the children entertained while they're on it. We were looking to move to the Middle East. We had gone to India and South Africa. We're on a global mission because we want to protect every child and we want a different social network in the future. It was very important that there are different cultures involved. The world is now global, it's digital. COVID has proven that to everybody in terms of how it's brought everybody online really. But with that come an awful lot of dangers, and the most vulnerable in society are both the young and the old, so it's the children and the elderly. The children are our speciality. So we were very keen to move into the Middle East, and Dubai was obvious to us as basically the leading digital economy in the whole region. And our plan is to move across the whole MENA region within the next 2 to 3 years. From the very beginning, dealing with Seed Group, one of the things that struck me was basically the professionalism, the efficiency and the integrity of the team here, which also moved very, very fast, and we move very fast as a company, and there was a synergy straight away between us. I think a partnership, I suppose when you look at a partnership, I believe it's a bit like a mirror. What you put into it is reflected back. So if you bring high levels of energy, passion, integrity, honesty and trust into that partnership, generally it's going to be reflected back to you. And I believe basically that trust and listening are very important in a partnership. We don't know what this region what's involved in it culturally. We don't have the context in it. We don't know how it works, and we need to know that, and we want to know that. We don't want to let anyone down. We don't want to let ourselves down. We don't want to let C down, or the children who are effectively our clients. It's very important that we listen, and Seed basically have been guiding us all along, step by step. We've very been incredibly happy with the whole process, and we're delighted to be moving forward. We believe that Seed will work with us across the whole MENA region and beyond. When you look at Dubai, almost from a helicopter perspective, and you see the speed at which it got built, the way it was built, fantastic buildings, fantastic infrastructure. That didn't happen by its own accord. That came from a vision. It's a digital economy here. It's a world trade area. It's basically a fantastic place to base our business from. I can only springboard from here, really. Our ultimate mission would be to protect every child across the world. That's our ultimate mission. Whether that takes us 10 years or 20 years, that's what we aim to do. We aim to do it at speed. We've gone into 3 different countries this year alone. I believe Seed, because of the way that they operate, it's like a spider's web. They operate in many, many different countries. It's not just the Middle East. And I'm sure that basically I'm very confident that we can move along with them. I would like it to be a hand in glove type partnership where we're all moving together in the same direction. With something like CyberSmarties, it has a very social benefit to it. I know that was important to everybody I've met at Seed and what they like to do. And it's important both financially and socially that you can do both things at once.